Last but not least, Alicia Parks.
I knew you were going to bring Alicia Parks into this. I knew it.
She made history as the first Black woman to win 3 125s in 1 year. After doing a few countdown videos, it's time to leave 2024 in the past and look ahead to 2025 and make some predictions, first starting with the WTA. Today, I have a guest joining me to share some of their own women's tennis predictions, and that is Myles David of Tune Into Tennis. Thank you for joining me, Myles.
Hey, Kristen. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for thinking of me for doing this prediction to the 2025. And I am looking forward to more women's tennis at the top of the year.
Of course, thank you for joining. So this season is set to be, 2025 at least, is set to be a really exciting season for the WTA. I'm very much looking forward to it. We have the big dogs looking to claim more big titles, and of course, world number one Aryna Sabalenka, and then Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff, the reigning WTA Finals champion, and then Elena Rybakina, as well as Qinwen Zheng. And then, too, we can't forget about Naomi Osaka, who will be playing her second full season post-maternity. So for this video, we're going to be giving our Slam and WTA Finals winner predictions. Also going to be giving our thoughts on who will be ranked inside the top 20, so our 1 through 20 rankings, as well as going to be predicting some winners for the WTA Awards, such as newcomer, most improved, comeback player of the year, so among some other things. So it should be very interesting. So first, starting off, we're going to be doing our big title predictions, of course, the 4 major titles and the WTA Finals. Now, as a disclaimer, please do not take these too seriously, because draws, form, and player health is all subject to change. Make sure to watch our draw preview videos whenever they come out for those accompanying slams, and then judge us more seriously then. So don't judge us now unless we somehow miraculously guess them all correct and then come back and celebrate us. So I'm going to start by giving my predictions. For the Australian Open, I'm going to be having Coco Gauff be our women's singles champion. And then for Roland Garros, I'm going to keep it basic. I was teetering back and forth with this one, but I'm going to stay with old reliable Iga Swiatek going, I guess, for the 4 for 4, that'll be the first woman to ever do so, I believe, winning 4 in a row. And then for Wimbledon, Elena Rybakina will be my champion for that slam. I'm laughing because my guest Myles is a big fan of hers. For the U.S. Open, I have Naomi Osaka being my U.S. Open Women's Singles Champion. For WTA Finals, I have to give her something. I'm going to be having Qinwen Zheng have her redemption story and take home that final big trophy of the season. So
I'm laughing at you just giving Jing Qinwen something at the end for the WTA Finals.
I have to give. She's leaving with something, I feel.
When I thought about like the landscape of 2025, I had Jing Qinwen going big at the Australian Open. I think she can lift the title there, but then I just saw her post on her Instagram story that she wasn't going to be competing at the United Cup, which, for the reasons that she gave, because she had a really long 2024 and a successful one, she kind of just wants some time off. That sounds great, but it might impede how she begins her season, which in order to win the Australian Open, you got to begin your season very well. So I don't know where she might actually enter a tournament pre-Australia, but if she goes into Australia with no matches in 2025, it's going to be hard for me to predict her as a champion, although I'd like to see it. I don't know how you creeped into the crevices of my brain, because I don't think I've publicly said this, but I did see you say that you had a feeling Naomi Osaka is going to win the U.S. Open, and I shared that same feeling. I feel like we are a little deluded and living in Delulu land as it stands right now, but hopefully she gives us something to go off of in 2025 as far as real tangible results on the WTA Tour that make the U.S. Open trophy lift that we see in our minds actually seem tangible. I don't think that Iga is going to get 4 in a row. I feel like if Justine Henin couldn't do it, then Iga may fall short of doing it too, especially if we get to May of 2025 and like there's still some rumblings of the whole melatonin gate that she went through at the end of the season. So it's really hard for me to predict anything for Iga Swiatek at the time right now, but I still obviously am aware that she's an amazing player and a great clay court player. Your Wimbledon pick? Still am trying to figure out where people give Rybakina so much credit. Like, I'm aware that she's a great player and she's done her best Grand Slam playing on Wimbledon stage, but I'm just not convinced that she is going to lift another trophy at any slam.
So the reason why I said Rybakina, and I feel like 2025 will be definitely better than 2024, because when we have seen her play For the most part, it's been a decent level of, especially
Mhm.
whenever she's healthy. So she wasn't able to make another slam final this season, 2024. But I believe she came sort of kind of close at Wimbledon. She narrowly fell to the eventual champion, Barbora Krejcikova, in the semifinals. I think she really should have won that match.
She really should
And
have. I'm not mad that she
yeah,
lost it though.
anyways, and we can't forget too, she has a new coach behind her, and Goran Ivanisevic, and he's a great addition to her team. He coached Novak Djokovic to, I believe, 10 slams in the latter part of his career. So I believe having such a great coach behind her, I feel like Goran will be more positive, definitely more positive than her former coach and Stefano Vukov. You know, there are a lot of rumblings about that whole situation and the vibes there. I feel like it's been time. It's been 3 years now since she won her maiden slam at Wimbledon. At some point, I think it's going to be more mental scar tissue if she doesn't emerge and win another slam. Talking about your Iga qualms of her potentially not winning another Rolling Girls title, honestly, I didn't have her there at first. I initially had Zheng as my Rolling Girls champion. I actually initially had Coco as my champion. Of course, she made a Rolling Girls final, and she's gone deep at Rolling Girls every year and lost to one player, and that's Iga Swiatek. And I anticipate Coco, of course, I have her winning the Australian Open. She showed a great improvement in the latter part of 2024. And of course, she beat Iga at the WTA final. So I anticipate her to rise and improve more. So I really could see Coco or Qinwen emerge there. But I just had to give it to Iga. Just let her have that one slam. And then for the Australian Open, I honestly was close to having Sabalenka do the hat trick and repeat there, but I just feel that Coco will carry her momentum from the WTA finals, and of course winning Beijing as well, and win the first slam of the year. Of course, it won't be an easy ask with the Australian Open kind of playing a little bit faster, but I think momentum will be behind her, and that's why I have her winning the Australian Open. US Open with Naomi Osaka, you know, I think Sabalenka could take it again for sure, but something's got to give. She has Patrick in her corner now. She's been looking fit, and I feel like she's got to take a slam next year, and US Open I think would be the best bet for that. So
Isn't it interesting that all the names you just mentioned have recently had a coaching change? Osaka, she has had a recent coaching change with Moritoglu. Coco Gauff just had a recent coaching change with Matt Daly. Rybakina with Ivanisevic, and then
right.
Iga Swiatek with Wim Fissette.
Now, in the spirit of doing predictions, which coaching pairing or new coaching pairing do you think would be the most successful in 2025, and which do you think will be the least successful?
I mean, how they ended 2024, I think Matt Daly and Coco Gauff will continue that momentum in 2025 because I think she's with somebody who is very conscious of how they want to mold her game. And I think that's what she's been missing. I'm just not convinced yet about Rybakina winning another slam. And two, I'm not convinced if Ivanisevic is going to gel with Rybakina. Ivanisevic spent a lot of time with a really great player, Novak Djokovic, but I don't really remember how he goes about his business when it comes to coaching women's tennis. And I'm not saying that there's like a vast difference between the two, but there are some differences. And I just haven't seen his body of work when it comes to a women's tennis professional. So it'll be interesting to see. So based off of me not knowing, I would imagine that's going to be the new partnership that may not yield the best results, but who knows?
If I had to do like a top two and bottom two, I'd say Coco and Matt Daly, and then Naomi and Patrick would be the two, you know, most successful partnerships. And then in the bottom two, I was critical of Iga Swiatek's hire of Wim Fissette previously. I still have my apprehensions about that. So that, and as well as Rybakina and Ivanisevic, I'd say would be bottom two, but of course all four could be very successful. So now I'm giving you the floor, Myles. Who do you think will be taking the titles, the big titles in 2025?
We haven't mentioned Jessica Pegula at all. What if she's the one that leaves Australia with the championship? She just made that final at the US Open. I don't know why this has come to me in this moment. Maybe Jessica Pegula is like in the room with me, or her spirit somewhere is in the room, but maybe she's an Australian Open champion. And I do think that she made some good strides getting to that US Open final. The rest of her season wasn't splendid. Maybe she just was burnt out from having so much success in the summer, but she likes a hard court. She's been to the Australian Open quarterfinals a couple of times, and more than a couple of times actually, and she might be the champion. French Open, I'm going to go Coco Gauff, similar for reasons that you said. I think that the only person that's really been knocking her out is the eventual champion in past years. And I think if she starts off for 2025, whether she wins the Australian Open, like you said, or not, I think she's going to round into form when she gets that clay underneath her shoes. If the really big contenders around her, i.e. Iga Swiatek, first of all, and Aryna Sabalenka aren't there in that final weekend for whatever those reasons are, Coco Gauff is going to be the champion, and I see that playing out for her. And I'd love to see her add another Grand Slam trophy to her cabinet. Wimbledon is where I feel like Sabalenka has been knocking on the door. The last couple of times she's played, she's got to the semifinals. She was semifinalist in 2021 and in 2023. I like watching her game throughout the year, but there's something special that happens to her on a grass court. But I just have a feeling that Sabalenka is going to show up to Wimbledon and hold that Venus Rosewater dish. I haven't listed her as a slam champion, so let's go with Zheng Qinwen for the US Open. Let's just do that one. I feel like that would be a great first time Grand Slam champ moment. She's been to the quarterfinals 2 years in a row. Zheng Qinwen has. So yeah, let's do two more. I think she can do it.
Now, what about for the WTA finals?
You know what? I haven't given her anything, and I've been hard on her. Let's make the WTA final champion Rybakina if she qualifies. I feel like there's something about her personality. She wins when nobody's really paying attention. And if the WTA finals, which they should be, are back in Saudi Arabia, I have a feeling nobody's going to be paying attention to that in large. So Rybakina, go ahead and take that title. Sorry, I know that comes off so shady, but I mean, sorry, Rybakina, go do your big one if you qualify.
There was good attendance in the last few days of the WTA finals, so hopefully next year will be even better. If I had to give some honorable mentions here, I did say in my notes that while I didn't have her taking home a slam in these predictions, I believe that Sabalenka will at least make a few finals. Unfortunately, that means that she'll lose a couple of them, but yeah. And then I have Coco and Qinwen being slam finalists as well.
You know, her name just popped into my head, Mira Andreeva. She made a semifinal at Roland Garros last year. You know, she's super young, so, you know, there's still plenty of like road ahead of her to make Grand Slam finals, but maybe she uses, you know, a draw working in her favor to get to her first final. And you never know what happens in a final. It can be a one-set shootout. Look at, you know, throwback to Simona Halep and Ostapenko. Anything could happen. That's who's not getting to a Grand Slam final, Simona Halep. You can put that prediction in there. I wouldn't be mad if Jasmine Paolini gets another final. She's so fun to watch, and I enjoy watching her story. It does seem like and feel like, you know, 2024 is going to be her peak, just how we know how tennis works, and it's hard to really follow up a breakout season like that. But if she does, and maybe it's at Australia, I would love to see her back in a Grand Slam final and even winning one. I think that'd be so fun to watch and a feel-good story.
Honestly, I could see Emma Navarro potentially go one round further. She made Roland Garros fourth round and then Wimbledon quarterfinal, then US Open semifinal. So honestly, Australian Open finals in the cards for her. I don't think she'll take home a slam, but I think it wouldn't be a surprise to me if she did make a slam final. It seems to be the trajectory that it's going. Moving on to our ranking prediction. At number 20, Maria Sakkari. Objectively, she's a good player. 2024 objectively was her worst season on tour in a long time. The reason why she didn't end 2024 in top 20 was because she didn't play pretty much at all after Wimbledon. At number 19, Madison Keys. Then at number 18, which might surprise some of you all, is I have Amanda Anisimova. That will have her move up 18 spots. She finished 2024 36 in the world. She had that one big result when she made the Toronto final, her maiden 1,000 final. I feel like she's still pretty young, long overdue for more big breakthroughs. And number 17 is Karolina Muchova. I have her moving up 5 spots. You know, she's another player who tennis Twitter loves. They think she's the best thing since sliced bread. But the problem with her is that she just cannot get her hands on a title. But if she stays healthy, of course that could happen because she missed so much of 2024. So for sure, she could prove me wrong there. At number 16, another Czech is Marketa Vondrousova. She was another person who was down and out this season. She finished 2024 39 in the world, and we haven't seen her since, I believe, Wimbledon. She always tends to perform really well in the odd years. She made her first slam final 2019. She made the Olympics final with the silver medal in 2021. And then, of course, 2023, she won her first slam at Wimbledon. So I feel like she'll continue the trend and have a solid, relatively solid season in 2025. At 15 is our reigning Wimbledon champion, Barbora Krejcikova, finished last year number 10. Someone said that Krejcikova is like the Adele of the WTA Tour, and I think that's a really good analogy. Like she pops
I
out
love
every
that.
once in a while and does really good job. And then sometimes she'll go back in hiding and not really do as much. And I feel like 2025, she might win another 1,000, but I don't think she'll win a slam and keep her in the top echelons. And of course, she has her injury problems too. At number 14, I have Paula Badosa moving down 2 spots. At number 13, I have Daria Kasatkina. She seems to be just a mainstay in the top 20. She finished 2024 number 9. I don't think that she'll finish in the top 10 again, but I think that she'll have another respectable year, number 13. At number 12, I have Ons Jabeur moving up 30 spots from 42. She had a pretty dismal end to her year. I have her coming back, at least making the top 20. I don't think she'll have her child. I think she'll keep trying to fight for that slam and then have the baby if the slam ever comes. At 11, I have Jasmine Paolini. That will have her moving down 7 spots from number 4, where she finished, to number 11. The floor is yours now, Myles. Give me your 11 through 20 players.
It won't include Maria Sakkari, I can tell you that much.
She'll be top 10, right?
No. Let's do 20 Elena Ostapenko. That's 5 down from where she finished the year this year at 15. I still think Ostapenko on her day can light it up. I mean, she's proven that, but she's just inconsistent week to week. But then one of those weeks she lights it up and it's like, oh wait, yeah, she has won a 500 or got deep in a 1,000 and she's top 20 in the world. So I feel like Ostapenko is going to be right there. Let's do 19 at Linda Noskova. She was born in 2004. She's 20 years old. I like the way she strikes the ball. Speaking of striking the ball, let's do 18 at Amanda Anisimova. When you mentioned her name, I really like fell back in love again with how she hits her backhand. And like, she's not the best mover, but man, she can hit that ball almost in the middle of the strings every single time. And I think she's going to put together a better season. 17, let's do Katie Bolter. She had some really good weeks on the season in 2024, and I think she can make that go even further. 16, Kasatkina. I am not like anti-Kasatkina at all, but she got to 6 WTA finals last year or in 2024. That's a lot to kind of defend. So there's going to be some week where she just doesn't put it together. So she's going to slip a little bit, but not drastically where she's out of the top 20. So I think 16 is a good place to put her. 15, Haddad Maya. Some kind of way, even with that serve that she puts in at 16 miles per hour, she manages to stay like in the mix because she's such a grinder. And I know if I was a player, I would not want to see my name next to her in a draw. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be out here for 4 hours. You know who I think is gonna have a breakout season? Let's go with Alina Avanesian. She has been on tour enough. She's had some big top 10 wins, and I think it wouldn't be beyond the scope of reasonable doubt that she has a really good 2025. And nobody's really had her on the tip of their tongue. Around there, let's put Krejcikova back in the mix. Also somebody that's smooth, but kind of in the mix, but not necessarily the champion, Emma Navarro. So she dipped a little bit, but still relevant in the grand scheme of things. And then 11, let's go Mira Andreeva.
And then another person we both didn't mention is Anna Kalinskaya. I think she'll be around top 25. What about you?
Not sold on that one either. Great player, has all the fundamentals, also just not inspired when I watch her play. I wouldn't be shocked to my core if she finishes inside the top 20 again, but yeah, wouldn't be shocked if she's farther below that.
This player also has a podcast. What about Caroline Garcia? Where do you see her? She's currently 48 in the world.
I am more inspired watching her play than the other people I've mentioned, but she's so rangy. If she comes back on court after this break with a more open mindset instead of just having to stay on the baseline and take every serve early, she's almost too stubborn in her game style. And if she realizes that she kind of has the athleticism and overall tennis to kind of hang from the baseline, I think that'd be beneficial for her. I just don't know if she's going to commit to that. So I'm not quite sure I see her moving up significantly.
She is 48, so that's not that low. So I see her top 30 to finish the season. Emma Raducanu, where do you think this she'll land in 2025?
Oh, man. I would love to see her land inside the top 25. To be seated at a major again would be huge for her. It's hard to bank on it because since that US Open run, she hasn't really put together more than 3 weeks on tour without like some kind of, taking a break or an injury or something falling against her her in her scheduling.
Marta Kostyuk, I had her at top 25. You know, she was one of the most improved players. I think she was nominated for that award. In fact, I don't really see her breaking that another threshold and being a consistent top 15 player. I just think she's too streaky for me, honestly.
I feel like she can go higher. I actually would put her in the top 10. Like, if that's one person I'm going to like maybe go big on, is Marta Kostyuk. I know that she can put you on a roller coaster of emotions if you watch her matches, but that's kind of why I like her. If she finds a way to even that out a little bit more emotionally, the game is steady.
And then, last but not least, Alicia Parks.
I knew you were going to bring Alicia Parks into this. I knew it.
She hired a new coach, and Jeremy Chardy, I believe she'll be finished top 40. I think 40 was her career high. I see her finishing maybe like 30, 37 or something like that. But I think she'll rise from where she currently is now at 82. She's primarily been playing on the 125s, and that's where she's been getting most of her points. As
She won 3 titles this year, didn't she? At like the 125 challenger level?
She made history as the first Black woman to win 3 125s in 1 year.
That is an accomplishment at any level. If you win 3 tournaments in a calendar year, that's something you should be proud of. But man, Alicia Parks, you know, the fact that we can have this much fun talking about her lets me know that she would be great like in the very, very top parts of women's tennis. She just has something about her. If she could just find a way to like hone all of that in and keep her star power, man, she'd be something special. Alicia Parks, we're rooting for you, girl. I hope this gets to you. We are rooting for you. We're all rooting for you.
Now, time to get to the good stuff. Our top 10. At number 10, I know you had her at number 11. Tamira Andreeva, that will have her moving up 6 spots. She had a pretty solid 2024 season. She's with Conchita Martinez. And I think that she'll continue to make more gains, definitely. At number 9, interestingly enough, is Mira's Olympics doubles partner, Princess Diana Schneider. I'll have her move up 4 spots. I think she won 4 titles. She won 4 titles in 2024 alone, which is great. She'll definitely win more titles, I believe, in 2025. And I think she'll continue to make even more gains. She got that big win over Coco, although Coco was in the trenches in Toronto. But I think that she'll continue to take more top 5 scalps in 2025. At number 8, I have is the biggest mover here is Miss Naomi Osaka, fresh off the heels of that U.S. Open title. I'll have her moving up 49 spots to that number 8 spot. I feel like I don't have to explain too much, as I already explained why I feel like she'll do well and win a slam at the U.S. Open. So that's my number 8 spot. Then at number 7 is Mrs. Consistent, Jessica Pegula, staying at that ranking of number 7 in the world. Then at number 6 is Emma Navarro. I think that she'll have another big breakthrough result in 2025. I don't think she'll win a slam, but I think that she'll win a 1,000, honestly. Then at number 5, staying at number 5, I'll have Qinwen Zheng. I think she'll have another solid 2025 season, and I think she'll continue to prove herself as a consistent top 5 player to stay. I think she'll be a top 5 player for a long, long time. At number 4, actually, is Aryna Sabalenka, our current world number 1. I'll have her drop down a few spots. The reason why I did this is because I don't have her winning a slam. A lot of her points come from winning slams. She is currently the queen of the slams, as she's guaranteed to go deep at a major. If she's going to stay at number 1, I think she's got to take home a slam. I do see it, but for the sake of these predictions, I don't have her doing that. So I have her at number 4. Then at number 3, I have Elena Rybakina moving up 3 spots to that 3rd position. I think she'll rise in the rankings a little bit. At number 2, I have Iga Swiatek staying at number 2. And then the one we're all waiting for is Coco Gauff. I think that she will finish 2025 as world number 1. For some reason, I saw someone tweet this like, oh, I saw someone predict Coco's going to be world number 1. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, she finished 2024 in the best form. Like, the hate Coco Gauff receives is so crazy, because if she does get to number 1, y'all are going to be seething, because what's so outlandish about her moving up 2 spots to world number 1? Yes, she has 3,000 or 2,000 or something points away from the world number 1 right now, Aryna Sabalenka. But I feel like Coco has a lot of ground to make up. And yes, she did make 2 slam semifinals at Roland Garros and the Australian Open. But there was that period of, of course, Wimbledon, she made 4th round, and then US Open, she made 4th round. And she really didn't do much at all in the North American hardcourt swing. I think she can definitely make gains there, as well as if she can win 1,000 tournament earlier in the season too, there's no saying, of course, she can emerge to the top spot. And I think that she showed us so much in the latter part of 2024. So why not have her be world number one?
Let's just get into it, okay? Number 10, I'm going to go with Rybakina. Don't really know what she's going to do to get there, but I good player, great gowns.
What do you mean you don't know what she's going to do to get there? She's already in the top 10.
I don't know. I'm trying to meet her where she is and give her a little bit of credit. I think Badosa at 9. I think I said I wanted Kostyuk somewhere in the top 10. Let's just jump out there and put her at 8. Let's put Diana Schneider at 7. Jasmine Paolini at 6, which is a little bit of a drop down, but I think she's going to do enough to still get back to the WTA year-end finals and be a top 10 player. Let's put Pegula at 5. I feel like Pegula is the perfect number 5 player. She's like not too high, not too low. Let's put Iga Swiatek at 4. She's going to dip a little bit in 2025. Between Indian Wells and Roland Garros, she has a lot of points to defend. And if she's not on it during that stretch, her ranking could take a tumble. 3, Zheng Qinwen. I feel like winning that gold medal has kind of like put a superstar battery in her back in the best way. So I really want to see her keep climbing. Let's do Coco at number 2. Although I'd love to see her at number 1. It's just kind of one of those things where I kind of want to surprise myself and like be amazed when she gets to number 1. So I'm going to put her at number 2. Let's do number 1, Aryna Sabalenka. She ends the year at number 1. Aryna doesn't have any points to defend at Wimbledon because she didn't play it. She has quarterfinal points to defend at Roland Garros. So she actually has room to kind of keep points going.
We can be brief with this, but your 1,000 champion winners. I believe there are 10 1,000 tournaments. For me, I have Coco winning at least one, Aryna being a 1,000 champion, Iga Swiatek, Emma Navarro, Elena Rybakina, and Amanda Anisimova.
What 1,000 is Emma Navarro winning? I'm curious.
Maybe Toronto. I know she made the semifinals of that. I
Okay.
believe. Okay. Maybe that, like one of those 1,000s.
Okay.
Your predictions?
I think that Diana Schneider is going to win a 1,000. Something about her in tournament mode is great to see. I think she's going to step it up and win a 1,000 somewhere along the season. I think Zheng Qinwen is going to win a 1,000. Probably one of the clay ones, either Rome or Madrid. Let's say that Linda Noskova wins a 1,000. I had her in the top 20, I believe. Let's say that she wins one. Not sure where. Marta Kostyuk is going to win a 1,000. Did I say Coco Gauff was going to win a 1,000 already? She will, and as will Sabalenka.
What about Iga? No.
Sure. Yeah, she's going to win a 1,000 somewhere. Oh. Yeah, sure. She's probably going to win Doha for like the 56th time. Yeah, sure.
Next is, who do you think will win the most titles of the season? For me, I have Diana Schneider winning 5 titles.
Dang, after just winning 4? We love some Princess Diana, which is fine. Who's going to win the most titles? Let's go Sabalenka. I think the titles are going to be spread around, but let's say, including the slams, let's say she gets 4 titles.
Who is going to be your WTA player of the year?
Coco Gauff.
She's also mine, but I'm surprised. I thought you would have picked Sabalenka.
Sabalenka won it this year. She can't have everything.
Coach of the year, I think that would be going to Matt Daly.
I would agree. Agree.
Comeback player of the year. I have a few names who I think could win this one. One that many of you might not know, Nina Stojanovic. She was kind of around there in like the 2021, around that era.
Wasn't she Novak Djokovic's doubles partner when he pulled out of the Tokyo Olympics? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
I think she'll at least be nominated, but Maria Sakkari as well as Ons Jabeur and Marketa Vondrousova. But I think that Belinda Bencic will end up taking this one home just because she came back from maternity leave. And I think at the core, she is a great player. She showed a good sign, of course, making that 125 final. So I think that she'll crack the top 100.
I'm going to give the comeback player to Alya Tomljanovic. I think she's going to finally win the WTA title that she's been searching for. And we might see her in like the final 8 of a slam again.
And on that note, most improved player of the year, maybe the elder Erika Andreeva. I think she's been trending up a little bit, albeit a little bit slower than, of course, her sister, but I think she'll continue to make more noise in 2025. Also, Olga Danilovic had a rather good rise in the ranking. She ended it just outside the top 50, and she ended her season with a title. So I think that she'll continue to rise.
I mentioned her earlier as a top 20 player, I think, but Alina Avanesian, for some reason, I think she could win the most improved player. I think 2025 is going to be good for her.
I want to say wishful thinking because I feel like that's a little bit mean, but I hope it happens. I hope Taylor Townsend continues to improve. She's been excellent on the doubles court and finished runner-up, I believe, for the WTA finals in doubles. So I would love to see her continue to make strides on the singles tour. She had a great North American hardcourt swing for her standards, did well in Toronto, Cincy. So I would love to see her continue to rise in 2025. Yeah.
And Alicia Parks to kind of, because they've had double success together. I think she could have a great 2025. We've talked about her a good deal in this episode, so let's put her name in the basket.
I'm gonna steal that. Yes, Alicia Parks, most improved. Now for newcomer of the year. When I was trying to look at the names, the ATP I feel has more like I think it's also because they have the next gen finals. It's easier to see the younger crop of talent and say, oh, that he's going to be really good or they're going to be really good. WTA doesn't really have that. And also I feel like the WTA top players are already so good that are young, at least. Of course, Coco, Qinwen, Mira. So it's a little bit of a smaller pool of like newcomer of the year. And we had like who won newcomer? I know Lulu Soon. Did she win it? Or Sonia some of the names that were nominated definitely weren't well-known names. So I could see that trend continue here. I'm going to make a separate top 10 players to watch for 2025, but I don't really know much of her, but I've watched her results in preparation for this. But Marina Stakusic,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
she's from Canada. That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Really?
I saw her.
That's
Yeah, I was watching her play a little bit at Guadalajara at the end of 2024, and I could see her. I could see her continuing her trend. I could see that. We haven't mentioned her at all, but Robin Montgomery. She's a lefty from the United States. If the WTA had a more flushed out challenger system and like a next gen finals, I think we would the collective tennis fan would know more about Robin Montgomery. But she's only 20 years old, and I think she could have a great 2025.
Now, going in the opposite direction, the biggest flop of the year, our biggest decline of the year, I think someone who will have a big fall, unfortunately, and it pains me to say this because I really enjoy her, is Danielle Collins. And I say this because she hasn't won a match since the Olympics. It's bad for her. And I know she's planning on coming back, and she came out of retirement, and maybe the endometriosis is also impacting her or something like that. But I just don't really see it for her. I know she's defending quite a few points in the early part of the season, started with the Miami Open title and then that great run of form she had. So I don't know. I think with the tour and how tough it's looking to be, I don't see her having a great 2025 season.
When I think about flop, I'm hopefully I'm not like jumping categories, but I'm thinking about players who may be like seeing the end of their career closer than not. And what comes to mind is Elena Svitolina. She finished 23 in the world, which is not a bad place to finish at all. But for some reason, I think she's going to go down. And also close to her in the rankings, Azarenka. I don't think Azarenka is going to finish inside the top 20.
I think that's an interesting transition to the final category, which is players who we think will retire from the tennis tour in 2025. I have a list of names. The first being Petra Kvitova. I could see her having a similar type of farewell that Angelique Kerber had. Kvitova doesn't have the same luxury of, Kerber. She came back at the start of 2024. Kvitova, as she's not playing the Australian Open, there's really no sign of when/if she'll play again. Following that up is another two-time slam champion, and that is Simona Halep. I think this will definitely be her farewell season. She'll try to go out and finish on her own terms. At least she'll be able to play the Australian Open, even if it is qualifying. So she has that. Maybe she can play all four slams to end if this would be her final season. From what I've seen so far in her comeback, I just haven't had good signs thus far. She has not won a tour level main draw match yet on the WTA tour. She's won, I think, 125 match. She's been plagued with injury issues, and I can continue to see her struggle much longer. Another woman who is in the 30s, of course, is Caroline Wozniacki. I think she'll retire officially for good. She came back in 2023. She had a good result, the US Open, and she made another US Open second week this year, falling to Haddad Maia. But, it was a good experiment, but I don't think she has what it takes to be a consistent top 30 player, which is what she probably hopes to do. I think really what she wants to do was come back for the Olympics, and she did that, but now the Olympics are done. I think she'll be done in 2025. Another player who suffers from endometriosis, Danielle Collins. I think that it might be her final swan song in 2025. And then Sloane Stephens, unfortunately, I think it might be curtains for her. She said at the Charlotte Invitational that she doesn't know how much longer she'll play. And I feel like she's playing pretty much for the check now, honestly. She's been doing her business stuff with the Doc and Glow skin care, whatever. She also has a podcast now. So I think she's kind of been transitioning to that other aspect of life. And she's talked about wanting to start a family as well. So I think that 2025 will be it for her. And then it should have been it for her probably 6 years ago, and that is none other than the legend, Venus Williams. She's only played 2 matches in the past 12 or so months. Longer than that, Venus, it's time to hang it up. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry.
Venus is not announcing anything. If she hasn't announced it yet, she's not going to announce it. She's just going to be one of those players that just you keep seeing her because she is a legendary Venus Williams, but she's never going to give us a like, hey guys, this is my last tournament. She's never going to give us that.
Final player here, we've mentioned her a few times, is Victoria Azarenka. Very well, she could play on to 2026. She is top 20, but I think this year might be it for her. I'll hand the floor over to you. Who do you think will retire in 2025?
I just have 2 quick names that I think are kind of at the end of their wick. Sorana Cirstea, she's been a staple on the tour, like kind of in that top 50, top 60 range. I think she's going to come and make an announcement that this is her last season on tour. And also Pliskova. Pliskova had that weird freak accident like a couple points into the US Open against Paulini, and we haven't seen her since. And that just might be like the thing that kind of sets her off into the sunset. I'm not saying that she's not incapable. Actually, both of them, Cirstea and Pliskova, are not incapable of putting it together for like one decent run or a couple of matches, but they are not getting back to their prime. So they might announce retirements.
I can see both of those, to be honest. I think those are good picks. Ending things with a few, I guess, rapid fire specific questions. One question I have for you is, will Karolina Muchova, Ajla Tomljanovic, or Anna Konskaya win a title in 2025? Yes, Muchova has won a title, but that's 6 years ago. So will any of those names or all of them win a title in 2025?
I'm going to go with Tomljanovic winning one because I think Tomljanovic won one or two 125K events. I think there's a 250 with Tomljanovic's name on there somewhere. I think she can win one next year. Muchova and Kalinskaya, all 3 of those names are injury prone and have had injury problems in their career. But I think Tomljanovic is going to benefit from the scheduling the best. I feel like Kalinskaya and Muchova don't really prioritize 250s, which is what they really should prioritize a little bit more if they want to get what it feels like to be a champion again. Whereas Tomljanovic doesn't mind going down to that level, and it might actually pay off for her.
If I'd have to pick, I'd say I think Muchova will win a title. I think she could possibly drop down and maybe play like a Prague tournament and win the 250 there. Next question I have for you is, will anyone complete a double, which means like Dubai and Doha, the Sunshine Double, of course, Madrid, Rome, Canada, Cincinnati, and then Wuhan, Beijing? Will any player win both titles in 2025?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I think somebody could catch fire that didn't have a great first 6 or 7 months of the season and maybe do the Beijing Wuhan double, because that seems to happen every so often where there's like a player who just really couldn't get it going, but after the US Open, after like a pretty decent break, they come on strong. I'm thinking about like Annette Kontaveit or Caroline Garcia, some of those names. So maybe the Wuhan Beijing double, but I think those other ones are just very, very difficult.
I think Iga will win a double again. If I have to say which double, of course, she's already done the Sunshine and the Dirty double. I don't think she'll do Canada, Cincy, or Wuhan, Beijing. So I think it'll be I think she could do the Dubai, Doha one, honestly. She reigns supreme in Doha. She just loves that tournament. So I think she could definitely win it again. But Dubai will be more challenging for her, but I think she could do it. So I'll just go ahead and say that she can do it. And then final question, will we be having a first-time Slam finalist in 2025? And if so, who?
Yes, Mira Andreeva.
I was thinking that name as well, if we would have one. To be different from you and to continue the theme of me having her continue the trend, I'll go ahead and say yes, Emma Navarro.
I thought you were going to say Alicia Parks. Sorry. Yeah, Emma Navarro, go do it. Go do it, girl.
Thank you all for watching. If you have stuck to the end of this video, I had such a great time with Myles here trying to predict what will be a great 2025 WTA Women's Tennis season. Of course, if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to this channel, Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles, so you're notified also when I post new content. Also, make sure you subscribe to Myles' YouTube channel, Myles David, Tune Into Tennis, as well as listen to his podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and listen to his full WTA and ATP prediction videos. So yeah.
Christian's crew, thanks for listening to me and Christian banter for a little while. Hope this is a great segue and kickstart, if you will, to 2025 in the tennis season. Christian, I want to thank you personally for inviting me on your platform. You could pick anybody, and I'm glad that you picked me, and wishing you all the success in 2025. And if you ever need an additional tennis opinion and you're already a part of Christian's crew, come on over to Tune Into Tennis and we can have some colorful conversations. So I'll be happy to have you.
Thank you again, Myles.